How about a little Saturday Night Live XRP update, August 19th, 2023. What an absolute pleasure. I got TikTok rolling. We got YouTube with us. I'm going to share this one out far and wide, and I would ask that you guys do the same for me. Appreciate you guys so much. Okay, massive session coming in here tonight. Right now, we're looking at these markets. A Bitcoin at 26,000, 1,667.33 for Ethereum is what I'm pulling. I got a 0.998 Tether. We're watching Tether, making sure that it's pegged up, and I'm going to speak on Tether here later in this episode. Binance down to 216 and XRP at 52 cents. We're going to get right into it. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Massive session. Saturday Night Live. Let me share this one out real quick. Okay, let's get it rocking and rolling. Cheers, everyone. So there's your prices, but what is the situation at home for your business? How's your program working out? Let's have the real conversation. If you thought I was going to just hang out and play nice with you tonight, I am going to, smile as I tell you that we really need to get our Shiite together. It's a Saturday night, so if a bad word slips out, I do apologize, but I got to rock and roll on a Saturday Night Live. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we're going to get started right away. We talk about and call this show the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. I am your host, Zach Rector. We've been doing this for 2.5 years. It's been an absolute pleasure. XRP still suppressed. Silver still suppressed. But in tonight's update, we're going to break it down, what's taking place, where we're at on the timeline. And so please do me a favor, smash that thumbs up for me and share this one out far and wide, and let's get a party started. Okay, thank you so much. Here we go. 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck according to a new report. As I said, how is your program working out? We really have to be real with ourselves when it comes to the financial situation right now. Same thing with the United States, which the U.S. government debt will rise by $5.2 billion every day for the next decade. Folks, do you understand what's taking place? Now, I put out and I retweeted, and I said, this is why I stack XRP and silver. Now, I'm not going to get into it too deep, but you heard it tonight, right? You've been hearing it for the last 24 hours. The wildfires spreading through BC. We actually are blanketed in smoke right now. Just a little bit. Can't complain. Can't complain at all. With the situations going everywhere, can't complain at all. But you see what's taking place up there. Why do you think I stack so much of this little precious shiny rock? I need options to feed the family, to take care of business. I don't know what I need to spend money for, but God forbid I get shut down like has happened up there in that country. And we were talking in the Discord group. I got a couple members up in the area. What they're saying is horrific. I guess the premier of Alberta said that out of the 600 fires that are going right now, about 500 are man-made. Now, I can't confirm that. That's what my Discord member shared with me. I got to check on that. But what we're seeing is a lot of activity that just is suspicious. Man-made, natural weather warfare been going on since the 60s, so let's not play stupid, let's not play dumb, and let's understand the situation. And let's not get shut down. That's the whole point. That's why I'm stacking silver, because this is an old world reserve currency with gold. And then we have a new world reserve currency in the form of XRP. They both have a fixed supply. There is a little bit more silver that's being created and found and produced every single year. But we are running out of deficit. And there is a little bit of XRP in an escrow account that, we have speculation on where that's going to go, right? But we see that Ripple has acted as righteous custodians of the reserve currency escrow, of the supply, operating as a treasury. And I shared my first XRP video on Twitter tonight. And in that video, I compared Ripple to the IMF. So first video came on the TikTok platform, and we got started with the video comparing XRP to the IMF. Now that video started to go viral, and the rest is history. Here we are. But the point being is that I've looked at both of these as reserves. From XRP, silver, gold, these are things like, this is blackout barter for me. This is systems down. This is wildfire. This is whatever the next event's going to be. This is the banking app shut down. And as you see, the exchanges can barely handle what's happening in the cryptocurrency space. So we're trying to use our XRP. We're trying to build out utility, still waiting for regulations, and we're being held up here in the United States. Legitimate entrepreneurs and capitalists don't know how to use DLT in a legal way here in the United States. We would love to, right? And so this is the state. And then you're seeing states around this country start to change and accept gold and silver as legal tender. So folks act like it's just BRICS, and BRICS isn't going to make a difference, right? And BRICS isn't going to dethrone the dollar. It's not about just BRICS. It's about states within the country that we're talking about here that has the reserve currency, states within this country moving to an alternative. You don't need to join BRICS to accept gold and silver as legal tender. You don't need to join BRICS to drop the US dollar. And see, this is what we're up against right now. And for me, I'm holding it because the gains are going to be sick, bro. Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good time, okay? And we're going to be able to help our communities out a lot. But the second part of this is the blackout barter. Like I said, we've been prepping in our community for 2.5 years since I started my Discord group. The whole thing started off as a safe space where I could talk censorship free. We could talk with the community. And that's what we're doing here 2.5 years later. We're getting the truth on the ground up there in BC, near Kelowna, which I've been up to the area for a baseball camp back when I was a youngin'. Been up there plenty of time, and as our Discord community, Randy said, it's God's country up there. It's absolutely gorgeous. But what's happening up there in Canada, no, it doesn't matter how the fire started. Let's just focus on the real situation here that without a doubt we can prove. The program's not working out. This is what I've been saying. It's not political. It's not left, right, up, down, who you love, what you believe in. What's the balance sheet tell us? That's the bitter pill to swallow for most folks. And it started with the first point that I showed you guys, with 61% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. Then the next point is the US government here is going to be spending $5.2 billion every day for the next decade. We are looking at approaching $2 trillion on interest this year. We're going to pay our debt service cost, folks, is going to be $2 trillion this year. Do you understand from a business perspective how that works? Right? You can't. And the only reason that it's working is because we've been covering our butts with the Federal Reserve, and we have the biggest military known to man. But collectively, they're standing up militarily against our powers. That's what's interesting to watch right now. Are the NATO forces in the United States is getting checked. Now, we haven't launched full scale. Don't get me wrong. God bless our military. I love our troops. I hate how the cabal uses them. God bless our troops, but I hate how the military industrial complex cares so much about money and their agenda, along with everything else tied up in that whole program. Now, for me, like I said, you look at this thing from a business perspective, it's not sustainable. It's not going to work. And so I think a lot of folks just don't get the BRICS hype. Might just be that a little overhyped, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to join BRICS to drop the dollar. You don't have to join BRICS to make gold and silver legal tender within your state. Forget the US dollar being dropped by the BRICS and by other countries. Our own states are moving in that direction. And the reason why I've been stacking 1 ounces is because this is perfect for barter. See, this is trading at $20 US right now. Now, in a crap hit the fan scenario, is everybody going to want silver? Maybe not. Probably not. Most people are going to need food or essentials, right? Which is why we stack those two. But you never know. And there are going to be people that will accept this. And you got to ask yourself, what's that value going to be during times like that, right? The value of your essentials. And one of our community members, God bless her, was talking about stacking wine. It's so simple, folks, right? And it's all fun and games. It's all crazy. And this is what I said today on Twitter again. This is why we've been prepping for 2.5 years, but not on any crazy doomsday bunker crap, which I don't really believe is crap. I mean, I think it'd be cool to have a bunker, you know. I like to prepare for all weather, right? All scenarios. But, you know, you don't have to be in the bunker with a ghillie suit ready to, you know, go at it here. to have essentials that can ride out a storm for 10 days. That, you can have a plan when it actually does hit the fan. And as you are seeing right now, areas that, have never experienced situations like this, what just took place in Maui, what's still going on down there in Maui. So many questions left unanswered. Now we see that we got a 10 spot from Gregory DeRosa. Appreciate that. There you go, brother. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. Matthew 7:25. It's incredible. They want to play God, don't they? And what we're seeing right now, it doesn't matter who you believe in. Like I said, you're going to get cleaned out no matter who you believe in or what you love. This is it, folks. 5.9 trillion lost within America. So we can pretend like Bidenomics are working good and feel good about that, I guess. But let's go look at our balance sheet, right? We're going to be spending $5 billion at our national government level per day on our debt servicing. And then as Americans as a whole, our wealth, we lost nearly 6 trillion. And oh, by the way, Russia's growing their wealth. As my mentor Dan Pena said, you're going to see trillionaires made in Russia. And it's going to be bloody and it's going to be bad. And I continue to pray for peace. You have to understand this is billions and trillions of dollars on the line. Cabal interests in the West, other interests in the East, BRICS, that's one group. Everybody's fighting for themselves outside of that union though, right? And so this is what I've been bringing it back to for us is, for me, I ask, what's the alternative? Bitcoin? Ethereum? What is it going to be, right? Because many folks say that we need to move away. I agree with the Bitcoin maxis, but they're moving into a little currency here that has little to no utility. And the store of value narrative is debatable at best. I think that, you got to, one, look at the opportunity as it stands right now for someone brand new. If you were early on Bitcoin, sure. But where Bitcoin stands right now today, I mean, the best bull case scenario is we go to 100,000, 150,000. Okay, what do you want to catch? A 4X? Right? We're at 26,000. You're going to catch nearly a 4X, 4 or 5X. Now, that's nice, I guess. That could be a trade, right? If you're a trader, and I'm going to talk about trading a little bit later. But for me, I like stacking reserve currencies that protect my wealth. But then I also like doubling down and investing and focusing my businesses around real utility, which is also why I hold XRP. It's also why I hold a couple other cryptos that can function and serve some utility that matters. That matters, by the way. That's also important. And projects that are actually getting people that matter to use their token. But then also, what we're doing is we're focusing our businesses around utility as well. Businesses that aren't going to go away, that don't rely on discretionary spending. Businesses that don't rely on a participation trophy economy. That's what we're investing in. That's the businesses that we're building right now. So no matter what hits, they can't wipe us out, right? God willing. God willing. Let's continue on, folks. Appreciate you guys for coming in. And this is the point right here. This is the Yahoo article. For those who didn't believe me, 5.9 trillion at the country level, the United States saw the largest nominal wealth drop at 5.9 trillion. Now, some would say that we have the most to lose. Yeah, well, that's the point. We have the reserve currency. We move away from that standard. What comes next for us? Now, check this out, folks. Silver COMEX registered inventories just declined 10% today. They got wiped out. They got clean for about 3 million. It was over 3 million drained from the silver COMEX. Now, for those of you who are thinking, well, God, I feel like you've been saying this often. I have. Every other day we're covering the COMEX vaults getting absolutely cleaned. And I'm not just making memes. I'm not just making clickbait, guys. Silver COMEX registered inventories just declined by 10% today. Silver registered inventories are at the low of the year, 27.6 million ounces left. Well, why is that interesting? 27.6 million ounces left. Because it's about 1/10 of the deficit that we had last year. 230 million ounces was our deficit last year. Now in the COMEX registered vaults, we're at 27 million. just 1/10 of the deficit last year. And has the demand for silver gone down? No. Managed money crowd went net short last week. Silver was one of the few assets up today. Shorts could get pressed here. Tick tock. Now it's only a matter of time. And this is what they're doing, is they're trading paper. And this is what Wall Street's made available for the common man and woman, is they give you an opportunity to trade the paper. Do you own it? Do you hold it? If you have M's in the bank account, you might have to get some exposure where you're putting it in somebody else's vault, right? That is a problem for quite a few folks, right? Where the stack of gold is so dang big that you can't keep it all at your house. So that's a consideration to make, right? But right now, we're seeing it. It's clear as day. They're getting drained. And we've been seeing them fill them back up. They put, 3 million back into the vaults. Then the next week, another 3 million drained, right? And right now, you're seeing it got clean for 10%. We're down to levels that we haven't seen. This is the low on the year. And it's literally only 1/10 of the deficit that we had last year. The amount that we were short by a lot. 27 million registered, 230 million ounce deficit last year, before the BRICS summit hype really was starting to pick up. Folks, it's a matter of time. And the managed money crowd is going short, but they are also getting some exposure on the back end, right? And so this is why, folks, I'm calling up my silver dealer right now, and I'm going to be buying some more silver because, once again, situations are taking place where we need blackout barter. And two, you're seeing the dynamics with the data right here that show us where this is going. It's just a matter of when, not if. Silver is just getting ready to break out along with gold and along with the other suppressed digital assets as well. Now, what's interesting is if they want to clean us out, they want to, and this is what's going to happen in my honest opinion, is that we're not done yet. We are going to go down further, and they can bring these suppressed assets down even further, just like they brought XRP to 50 cents. So what I'm talking about is this right here, folks. Huge shout out to the Kobesi letter, by the way. Interesting data regarding market reaction to the last rate hike of a cycle. Going back to 1974, the average 3-month return for the Dow is down 4.5% after the last rate hike. The average 6-month return is 6.5%. Since July of the 26th, which may have been the last Fed rate hike, the Dow is down 2.8%. Surprisingly, the end of a rate hike cycle is typically sold. If you believe we just saw the last rate hike, history says more downside is ahead. Well, in my honest opinion, I do believe that we're going to get one more rate hike and we have a lot more downside to go. Because what you're seeing right now has never played out in history before, right? I mean, it rhymes with the Great Financial Crisis. It rhymes with the Great Depression, but this is a different turn. And the markets are going to move faster than they did during the Great Depression era when you had to wait for the newspaper to arrive to know that a stock was down or moving. This is why we just had the biggest liquidation event in Bitcoin's history this last week, is because markets are moving at quantum speed. I mean, literally, in seconds, information is being moved across this planet and folks are trading 24/7. So you're seeing this market move violently. But in my opinion, we have another interest rate hike because inflation's not going away. It just ticked back up. And I know everybody wants relief from the Fed. Everybody wants relief from their central banker. But inflation is out of control. They opened up Pandora's box, i.e. the money printer, and printed a third of the U.S. currency in circulation in a couple years. And we're still going through the ripple effects of that, i.e. inflation coming back. And as we said, they don't have a chance at fighting this. OPEC controls the levers when it comes to oil, which is the big reason why our CPI, went down as of late. We had a strong dollar and we had oil back down to nearly $70. But OPEC is now producing as much oil per day as they did in 2009. They are cutting production, right? And actually there's a 2 million barrel per day deficit of oil right now as we speak, and growing. except global demand is up over 20% since 2009. So they're producing at levels that we last saw in 2009, but global demand is up over 20% since then. Higher crude oil prices continue to pressure the fight against inflation. And this is where everybody thinks, oh, king dollar, king dollar. You don't have to fire a shot at us to bring us to our knees and to really shake this thing up. And that's what's happening. Every time we get back to 67 to 70, which is where Biden wants to fill back up that strategic petroleum reserve, OPEC cuts. Go figure. No shots fired. And this is where they have us, folks. They have the real commodities that run our world. A lot of folks have dreams of what's going to run our world. You know, I'm sure the Green New Deal God is going to come save us from OPEC and rising oil prices. I'm sure that's coming, right? This is the point. They have real commodities. They're producing real value. We export fake fiat money and a woke agenda. That's all we have for you. Now, speaking of fiat funny money, we got to look at this one right here, folks. This shows us how early we've been and how early we continue to be because we are so over the target. A huge shout out to XX 1133 1221 11 on x.com. Just like my map showed from 2021, I'll share it again for those who didn't see. Evergrande connected to Tether, and it all goes back to that country that I'm not even going to name. We've made the connections. We've tied the dots together. We have folks like this that have put these maps together to show us where all this goes back. And you know what? That country that I won't name, that's a country that's bought and paid for a lot of influence. How to win friends and influence people. They mastered that craft when it comes to buying out our pathetic little politicians that will bow down and bend over for the smallest and the most embarrassing of a check when you consider what's on the line for the American people being sacrificed. How little these guys will actually sell out for. It's embarrassing. But they've never had a real business. They've never provided real value in their life. But they build all their wealth by backroom deals while they serve. And it all goes back to the same. All roads lead back to the same manipulators. Now you're seeing it in the crypto space. There's a group within crypto, little puppets like Sam Bankman-Fried was one of them. He doesn't even have to snitch as he's, doing his trial and his deal because he was reporting back to his handlers the whole time. This is how this works, guys. It's not a game. It's not a joke. What you're seeing when you watch shows like The Blacklist is the real deal. There is a cabal. There's a lot of money to be made, money laundering and doing all these deals, right? And I don't support any of it. Let me be clear about that. And we've only tried to talk about what the adults in the room were trying to use this technology for. And we've always brought it back and said, we would love to see Tether show reserves and Tether be sound. And maybe they do have the backing by the Fed, right? But I just don't feel comfortable right now in Tether or any stable coins. And I'm being very careful of the exchanges that I'm choosing right now. This isn't a game, right? When we've put our money on one of these platforms that's playing deal and doing deals and still tethered, right? And what's interesting to note is what I'm about to show you next. And I want to give a huge shout out to Echo the Truth. He's one of the OGs on TikTok. Echo, God love you. He says China's Evergrande filed for bankruptcy yesterday, and today Tether stopped minting, and Coinbase will suspend USDT, DAI, and RAI trading for Canadian users. Are we about to witness the great untethering? I wanted to make a note on that because I was listening to someone talk about how Tether's not minted on the XRP ledger. In my opinion, it's not minted on the XRP ledger because they're scared of the transparency that the XRP ledger brings. That the standard that the XRP ledger has set for transparency. That's why Tether's scared to mint on XRPL, in my opinion. Now, with that being said, we are glad, that we see that XRPL has started, and XRP, the coin, has started to detether from the rest of the space. But we have to acknowledge that there's still a lot of trading. It is still the number one pair is the USDT XRP pair. Now, while that is the case, we got to understand that they can still manipulate this asset heavily, right? And folks want to turn their attention and focus on Ripple manipulating price. No, it's operators like Tether, it's these exchanges, and it's these massive whales that have been in on the scheme since, a decade ago, right? I see we got TK with the 10 spot. Zach, truly appreciate what you do for the community. Thank you. TK, I appreciate you. Much love, brother. So what we're seeing right now, folks, is something that's uncomfy for me. I'm not here to give you financial advice or tell you whether to believe in the Tether deal or not. For me, it's not comfy, right? And so I'm out, right? And so right now, I'm stopped trading. I'm on the sidelines right now, waiting for the water to settle, even though there's a lot of opportunity, right? Instead of placing a Bitcoin short, I was expecting the market to go back down. You guys heard me. And sure enough, you get this massive, the biggest liquidation event in Bitcoin's history this last week. And it was just no surprise. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I told you that I didn't get 100% satisfaction when I checked. I mean, I was ecstatic. I couldn't believe it, but I was ecstatic because it's exactly what we expected. My buy order for XRP went through. And so now we're out of Tether, picked up some more XRP, and doubled down and bought some more XRP, just market bought. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. And this is what we've been talking about, is this rest of the space has a lot of cleaning up to do. Now let's get into XRP, this Ripple lawsuit, where we're at with this situation. I want to let you guys know that tomorrow on our Twitter Spaces, I'm actually getting former SEC lawyer Alex Damsker. She's going to be coming on the show. This is round 2. And she was a former SEC lawyer. We had her on the Spaces a couple weeks ago, had some disagreements, and it's going to be a fun conversation. And I'm interested to get into the mindset of someone who's been on the other side, right? The SEC. So that's going to be fun. Make sure you guys pull up for that. But let's get right on into it, folks. We're talking about this case where XRP still, as a matter of law, even after the most recent filing from the SEC, is not a security. Now let's listen in. We're going to listen to this clip here from Link 2, Joseph Indoso, and attorney John Deaton. Let's listen in here on what they got to say.
And I think the reason why the SECs had to come out with guns blazing and with wild-eyed desperation almost with this appeal thing is precisely because Judge Torres's opinion on the very specific issue of whether XRP constitutes security was so crystal clear in its application of Howey, without trying to extend its legal interpretation, but just taking the actual sort of words and meaning of Howey as it, as it's been reflected, right, in precedents, and applying that it becomes very difficult now for the SEC to take certain of the actions it wants to against Coinbase and against Binance and all these other guys on their target list. So all of a sudden they're saying, oh my gosh, our whole plan to go after all these guys and basically burn the whole landscape down may not necessarily work anymore. We got to figure out a way to reverse that decision, that judgment.
Well, you're 100% right. And what people need to know is that Judge Torres did exactly what the SEC said and requested. The SEC said, here are different categories of sales. There's institutional investor sales, there's programmatic sales on exchanges, and then there was some XRP given to employees or independent contractors who didn't pay for it, but just was sort of given to them. And we believe each one of those categories violate the law. And so all the judge did, and remember now, Gary Gensler and the SEC has said for years now, it's very simple. It's very simple. The clarity is, we've given clarity. Howey is the clarity. Howey is the test. Yeah. So the judge then took their different cells that they segregated and applied the test to each one of those cells with the evidence, and then she came out. Now, did it make did some people say, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, Joe, because institutional investors are accredited and they were determined to be securities transactions, but the unaccredited investors on the exchanges are not. Aren't the securities laws meant to protect the unaccredited versus the accredited? And the answer to that is, that's not the Howey test. The judge applied the Howey test. That's what happens, Joe, when you take an 80-year-old test
And try to stuff it.
orange
Yeah.
groves, right? And try
Yeah.
to pigeonhole it into modern day blockchain technology. Wait till we get to artificial intelligence technology and any other technology thereafter. So that's what happens. And Judge Torres, her job is not to say, well, wait a minute, what is the policy considerations in the 1930s? Does my result of the Howey test, and when I apply it objectively and fairly, does it comport with policy considerations from 80 years ago? That would be improper. There is no Howey factor that says what level of education or sophistication does the investors has. And so he's very confident. Listen, one thing I did right in this is I predicted that this was going to happen. I was on Fox Business and I said this was going to happen and Ripple might not get a complete victory. And Judge Torres did her job. She did it effectively. And I don't believe it's going to get touched on appeal.
So there you have it, folks. There you have it. John Dean says he doesn't think it's going to be touched on appeal. We're going to be waiting for Ripple's response here, and they're going to go back and forth. Then we're going to get this appeal. This process is going to go on for a while here. And what's funny enough is that David Schwartz actually gave us the best breakdown of what this whole appeal process is, because I know it's confusing for a lot of people, but he explains this so well. David's such a genius. So he says yes, because someone asked him, James, if Judge Torres denies this, does the SEC have the option to appeal it after the fact to the appellate courts? Now, what David says is yes, a party that loses on any claim or issue in their suit is entitled to appeal any adverse ruling at the conclusion of the suit. The SEC is asking for permission to appeal here because the suit is not complete yet for any party. You can see why there would be a rule like this. There are lots of little rulings all through a court case. An appeal typically takes at least a year. If each ruling were appealed by the losing side as it happened, you either have to pause the original case for a year every time a party appealed, making it take forever, or you'd have lots of overlapping appeals both sides would have to deal with as the actual case is still going. So we encourage either or both sides to appeal all adverse rulings at the conclusion of the case. That is the normal rule. And then all appeals can be handled at one time. This is not what the SEC is trying to do, right? And if they are granted appeal, right, that appeal could easily take 1 year. David finishes by saying, but there is an exception for unusual cases, and the SEC is arguing that this is one of those unusual cases where an exception should be made and the regular proceedings should stop until the appeal is complete. Ripple is arguing there should be no exception made, and Brad and Chris are arguing that even if the court grants the SEC the right to appeal, the case should still continue and the appeal should run in parallel. So to me, it's very clear the SEC is continuing to try to stall this case out. For whatever reason, for whoever's telling Gary to do what they're doing, and God, I can't even imagine the case. These lawyers, when you listened in on the court hearings, these SEC lawyers didn't even sound like they believed in the case they were making. I mean, they flip-flop back and forth so many times, and their whole argument has just been ridiculous. Now, they did say in this most recent filing, right, that they are not appealing whether or not XRP is a security, right? So it's very clear. That's not what this is about. This is on the programmatic sales and some of those sales to individuals. That's it. As a matter of law, XRP is not a security, and that is going to be the law of the land for at least a couple years, right? Because as they would say in the appeal process and everything that this has to go through, you have at least probably a couple years that we know as a matter of law it's not a security, and they know. And they ain't going to try to fight it. And just like they're talking about, if they go too far here, they're going to ruin their chance of being able to go after others as well. And they have plenty of room and evidence, plenty of cases to go after, and plenty of money to be made after legitimate folks that did, scam, fraud, and everything in between. They have plenty of it, plenty of unregistered ICOs. But they're trying to push this out and stall it in a way, this is just my opinion, in a way that they can still allow the incumbents to get their act together. And for whatever reason, this is such a powerful deal that's happening right here that they're trying to stall it out longer, right? And I think that that goes all the way back to the currency war, as I started out by saying tonight. I think that when the veil is lifted on what the true intentions of the XRP digital asset are for, it's going to be too late for most people because they will be priced out. Most people won't even be able to afford a wallet. You guys realize how little the price has to go before most people on the planet can't afford a wallet? Now, you only need 10 XRP for a wallet. But literally, I'm talking across the planet. Not in the mindset of an American here. 61% of us are living paycheck to paycheck, but most of us have a little bit of money. We could afford a wallet, even if XRP goes up to $10, right? $100 to get an XRP wallet. But that's not the case across the planet. And so that's why I think this whole currency reset, everything that we're watching right now is on a longer timeline than we want it to be. We want to be on a moon date. We want to do a decode, and we want it to go to 589. And we want generational wealth. Okay. We're going to have to not only participate in the XRP opportunity, there's other moves that we're going to have to do as well. And this is not on our timeline as much as we would want it to be, right? Now, does it change any of the certainty that we have about where this asset goes long-term? Not at all. And I think that folks are going to be in for, a real pleasant surprise for those of us that have stacked it. But it's going to be unbelievable for folks where this goes. And I shared the TA today. A little quick 5-minute video that I dropped on YouTube already. XRP to $27 is the clickbait title. And I break down the technical analysis from Reg Crypto. And I don't focus so much on the targets, on the $27, on the 13 to 15 back down to 3. But what I focus on and what I tried to bring home for folks is that I really do believe in that type of volatility, which is going to wreck people. Even myself, I'm trying to stay prepared emotionally, mentally, financially, continuing to double check my strategy and plan because it's going to shake up so many people. I do believe in that type of volatility for this asset. In the blink of an eye, whatever meme overnight you want to think of, it's already happened. And look at how people reacted just going from $1 down to 50 cents after this is the best part about the shakeout is they did it after the ruling, right? After we have victory for the XRP community. And then like we warned about in 2022, the beginning of last year, we said we were going into a recession. We said, guys, this is a recession. Doesn't matter what they're saying. We're not even waiting for 2 quarters of negative GDP growth to come in, which was the technical definition of a recession. Before we change that definition, we're changing everything now. Define whatever you want it to be, right? But we warned that folks were going to not be able to hold on to their bags. Folks weren't going to be able to pick up their bags. And that's because we were going into a bear market recession. In fact, I called it all the way back in October and November. We were saying December 4th, 2021, this is when we're expecting Bitcoin to top out once again and start the bear market. It didn't top out again. The top came in November 10th, 2021, but on December 4th, 2021, we got a 40% liquidation event, same thing that took place last week. So for me, it's always been easier to decode days that crashes are going to happen or moves like that are going to happen versus moon dates to the upside. But with that being said, the setup here for XRP into the next bull run, a bull run that it will be able to participate in without a doubt, right, is going to be massive. When the rest of the crypto space is going away, 90% of crypto is going to go away by some estimates, right? And by folks simply not even having the money to invest in BS, right? Literally just utility and grasping the opportunity while they can. There's going to be folks that are FOMOing into XRP all the way up. And the reason why is because folks are still going to be putting out XRP to $10,000 videos when we're at $5, when we're at $10. Just like the video I said today, if we, Reg Crypto has targets at $27. Sounds good to me. But if we go to those levels, there are still going to be folks that have their eyes on $10,000 per XRP, right? Now, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I just want folks to be ready for the violence, right? Because it's going to come in a major way. And even the folks that are prepared for it are still going to get shaken up because now you're going to second guess your exit strategy, right? See, you made your exit strategy during good times, if you're like me, right? I made my exit strategy, basically a couple years ago. The only thing that's changed is I've grown my bag, which makes it easier to give off a couple chunks if I want to. But the overall plan really hasn't changed. But your situation has changed. Now, hopefully it's better. Hopefully we're winning. Hopefully we're successful. Hopefully we've been stacking cash and we're winning, right? But we have to understand, wait, when I go to execute this XRP exit strategy, when I have a credit card bill now, right? Or, credit card debt just reached $1 trillion. 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So now pulling out your profit of 10 grand, of 50 grand, of 100 grand is all the more appealing. Now you were planning on taking 20 grand off the table, but now you want to take off 100 grand, right? This is what I'm talking about. See, we're going to folks get so wrapped up on the TA. Are we going to go to $13 and then back down to $3? Are we going to go to $27, back down to $5? We're going to get violent price action. That I can guarantee you because we've already got it. If you look at XRP, it moves at one of the most violent cryptocurrencies in the space, even though it's in the top traded assets with the most, relatively compared. It's not a low cap crypto, right? Compared to the overall cryptocurrency space, there's a decent amount of liquidity in that thing, and it still gets shaken up. One of the most manipulated assets that we have in crypto. Matt, appreciate the 2 spot. Thank you, Matt. I see 120 spot from MC. Thank you. Thanks for your devotion to the community. Let's all get filthy rich together. And that's what it's about, man, is stacking it up. And for me, it's not about getting rich for Lambo time. It's getting rich for the ranch, and it's getting rich for giving it back to the community and really growing and building a better world. I just want an opportunity for my children and your children. And I think that we can have a great experience on this planet. It doesn't all have to be doom and gloom, and we don't have to burn it down to the ground. But I believe that there's an enemy out there that wants to burn it down to the ground. Literally, financially, spiritually, in every single way. They are coming after everything that is pure about the human soul. We're under attack, and it's without a doubt, folks. And that's why we got to be prepared. That's why we got to have a plan, and why we're pushing in and we're locked in right now on our strategies. With that being said, quick point, I already kind of made it on trading. Watch out for these exchanges. There is plenty of arbitrage opportunities. One of our Discord members making thousands of dollars this last week, shorting XRP, just trading the markets, right? There's plenty of money to be made. But what I'm going to show you guys right here, XRP shockingly plummeted to 31 cents on Dubai-based exchange, Bybit's futures market, presenting an arbitrage opportunity for experienced traders. That's the key part, experienced traders. So right now, we're going to get a bunch of new people coming into this space. And I just want to make the quick caveat, the quick warning, put the little asterisk next to trading and getting excited about trading, is to be really careful, because there's a lot of chaos in the cryptocurrency space in the form of stablecoins getting depegged, stablecoins collapsing, exchanges getting sued, and manipulation still running rampant. So just be careful. There's plenty of arbitrage opportunities. And what's interesting to me to see this is that, see, on the most exchanges, right, XRP went down to about 42 cents, which was a support level below the 50 cent level support that we were really trying to hold. 50 cents is so important for XRP. It's been a level forever. Here we are once again. We shouldn't be here. It sucks. I get it. But you have to understand that we broke through that. And on most exchanges, not just futures exchanges, not just one-off exchanges, we went down to 42 cents and lower. The Dubai-based Bybit went down to 31 cents. So there's opportunities, but just in the same way, you can get wicked out on an exchange pulling the wrong prices as well, or pulling different prices from what you're seeing on TradingView or CoinMarketCap or wherever you're pulling the prices from. And so you got to be careful right now. There's a lot of BS in this space, And the reason why I was explaining this to the Discord group this morning in our weekly call, the reason why I don't sell my Discord group as a trading group or anything like that is because that's how the scammers are trying to reach out and impersonate me, is they're trying to say that I'm going to trade for you. We're going to do this and that. So that's why, even though my programs worked out pretty good, I've only lost on one Bitcoin short in the last year. Since August of last year, I've been shorting Bitcoin. I've lost one time and I've only made money. I haven't made millions. You know, it's not even something that gets me excited, but it's been fun. It's been a good time, right? But the reason why I don't sell a trading course, trading guru, or try to sell the Discord group as a signal group is because that is where all the scammers are trying to impersonate and get you guys at. So I don't offer any trading. I don't do anything like that. The only thing that I do is I share my trades in the Discord group. We have a little channel. There's one channel where I really talk about trading and I share my trades, and it's on a very basic level, and that's it. I'm not here to give you signals. I'm not here to give you a trading course. I'm not here to be a trading guru. But we are finding incredible opportunities right now for those that are in the game. Like I said, some of our members making a lot of money. And for me, I wasn't shorting, but we had the orders placed. And many of our other communities, we had the orders placed. See, and that's what got me so excited, is because I think that so here's the facts. 9 out of 10 traders don't actually make money. That's the cold hard truth, right? 9 out of 10 traders don't make money. Okay. So when you understand that, for most folks, the best strategy is going to be just accumulating, holding, and maybe leveraging assets that are going to be around for a while, longer term hold positions, right? More of a cash flow mindset, or at least of a swing trader, right? And that is where most people should be at. And for those people, you accumulate, and the best way to do it is by setting those limit orders at prices that you think it's probably not going to go down to 42 cents, but it's not going to go back down below 50 cents. But for whatever reason, you put a little bet, you place a little order for 45 cent XRP or 40 cent XRP, or you go see that Bybit's selling XRP for $31. Now, you got to be careful because that's on their futures market. Your pair out of that is probably going to be Bitcoin, Tether, or maybe a couple others, or maybe just Tether. So your exit is not, is limited. So you have to view all of these exchanges as a casino. You view the stable coins as your chips, and the different games that we play is the DeFi. That's the best way to understand what we're doing here. And what I've been warning folks about is that you might have won some chips, you might have played well at the table, but are you going to be able to get out of the casino? That's something to seriously consider right now during times when these exchanges are getting sued, these exchanges are going down, and these exchanges are running out of liquidity. Incredible arbitrage, but you got to know what you're doing. You got to be experienced and have a serious program. Now, the final tweet that I wanted to share with you guys, because what do the haters always say, right? Is that Ripple's paying influencers, Ripple's letting us, letting the riddlers and the decoders and all the hype go crazy because that's what they want, right? And for whatever reason, these folks come up with these crazy conspiracy theories about Ripple and their agenda, right? Well, this post that I'm about to show you guys proves that Ripple actually, in the past, has tried to actually check and fact check XRP influencers. If this is a true story from Alex Cobb, he says it's been 3 years since I got this message from Ripple. When B of A, which is Bank of America, plus XRP announcement. So he must have made a video, right, 3 years ago about Bank of America Ripple partnership. And he says, "Hi, Alex. Hope you are doing well. We noticed that you tweeted about the Bank of America article. We are excited about this news, but unfortunately, this information was leaked prematurely and the content is not current. We are planning a larger campaign around the actual announcement and would really appreciate it if you could remove the tweet so that we can launch a large campaign around the news when it goes live." Oh, the haters are going to pick up and love that one, aren't they? Oh, Ripple's looking at launching a marketing campaign. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. We've also reached out to the publication to remove the article. Thank you in advance for your consideration. To me, this shows two things. One, that Ripple has been trying to fact check the narrative that is being spread. Now, Ripple's not in the business of being full-time influencers and full-time fact checkers that are telling us what's taking place. And many of these deals are under wraps for a reason. The Bank of America partnership, we know, has been public for years, but clearly they were looking to announce, and this is the second point that I want to make, clearly they were looking to make a larger announcement. And my speculation was, would be that Bank of America was getting ready to use XRP for ODL. And this is 3 years ago that Alex Cobb got this message, which brings us back to about summer of 2020, right? And we know that Bank of America was a RippleNet partner all the way back 2017 or 2018, right? So years ago. But my speculation is that this was in regards to, Bank of America actually using XRP, and that they were trying to hold off this announcement because it was coming, but they were getting ready to launch a larger campaign around the news when it goes live. Maybe that's crazy. Right? That's my version of the conspiracy theory. What's funny to me, though, is watching these guys continually try to spread the most negative narratives about XRP and Ripple when it's very clear. I literally had to fact check someone who said that Ripple was no longer putting out the market reports, that the SEC got them, and that in the appeal it mentioned something about the market reports, and it did. And it was about how Ripple had, kind of stopped sharing so much of their market reports, right? They're not, sharing, not all of it is being shared that was before because the SEC is using it against them in court. So at what point do you, remain the right to hold back your information, the deals that you're doing, when you're already shelling out $200 million against our government, right? And you've just tried to be transparent. That's why you shared all of this. But the SEC, in the absurd case that they're making, is coming after Ripple. But I had to fact check this guy because he said that they're not putting out market reports. No, they definitely still are. That was an easy fact check. Retweet, share the link to the Q2 2023 markets report. And it's crazy to me, right? All this hate, all this FUD. And to me, I'm glad that we've gone through it. We've put our investment to the test. I'm not here to give you financial advice, but the way that I look at this is folks have answered the hard questions. Folks have come up with crazy conspiracies about what Ripple has done and their agenda and all this. And even the folks that get hype and excited about it, we come up with our own version of the conspiracy theory. Absolutely guilty of coming up with theories about this conspiracy that involves Ripple and XRP. It's nothing, right? It's nothing crazy. It is simply your speculation versus mine. But we have folks that continue to spread disinformation, misinformation, just like got shared the other day when the SEC filed its motion. And you got it running across the headlines that the SEC appealed XRP being a security. That's not true at all. They actually made it clear in their motion that they're not appealing XRP not being a security. And that's the misinformation and disinformation that continues to get spread about XRP. That's why I started 2.5 years ago, is because I came to this TikTok platform. I said, nobody's sharing the truth about XRP on TikTok. I was listening to my YouTubers, DAI, Brad Kimes, the OGs. But I came to TikTok and it's just all this FUD, all this craziness, and all this hype shilling of just Ponzi schemes and BS. I'm like, what's going on here? And the rest is history. Like I said, we posted a video comparing Ripple to the IMF, and I think the comparison fits. In my version of this grand conspiracy, the theories that we're putting together, it's absolutely fitting. Because they have something that's very similar to an SDR in the form of XRP, in the form of a world reserve currency. They're in charge of issuing it to current, countries around the world. This is 5 central bank digital currencies projects with governments that have already been announced, 5 that are unannounced, 20 plus conversations that are underway, 400 banks, financial institutions, and payment providers that have already partnered up with them. And you're seeing that on-demand liquidity growth is 9 times year over year is the last report that we got. And you are also seeing we went from 3 corridors to 40 in the last couple years. Only settling 30 billion so far, which is a drop in the bucket when it comes to overall payments moving across this planet on a daily basis. Market cap only at, what is it, 30, 40 billion right now? What is the market cap of XRP? 27 billion. That's a joke. That's a joke. And that does not represent future value in any sort of way or fashion. And market cap is not a restriction to XRP price in any form or fashion. And market cap bros struggled to do the maths when we talk about settling trillions of dollars on a daily basis. And when we just get a sliver of the action, we're in another reality. We already have accepted and rejoiced over the fact that we now have clarity, the only asset in America that is a non-security. Is it a commodity? Is it a utility token? Judge Torres called it a digital token. The settlement with FinCEN, they called it a virtual currency. What do we want to identify as? I call it a reserve currency. That's what Ripple calls it and how they treat it, right? But we know as a matter of law that it's not a security. And the next bull run's going to begin next year, in my opinion, and it's going to be a party. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we also have to understand that it's not going to be fun and it's not going to be pretty and it's not going to be smooth sailing till that bull run next year. Right? We're going to be moving into an election cycle. We're going to be moving into increased chaos from the levels that you're seeing now. It's hard to imagine even more chaos. Now you're seeing what's circulating, what's coming back, another wave. Right on time, right on cue. And for us in our community, like I said, how do we make it? I've diversified within my businesses. I got an old world business, property services. I got a new world business, media, YouTube, content, media, both utility, both needed during good times and bad times. Got it. How do we protect it? For me, it's silver. I haven't stacked any gold yet. It's just been silver. And it's been 1 ounces, it's been 10 ounces, and a little bit other diversification within the bullion coins. And like I said, I'm personally about to be calling my silver dealer, and we're going to be loading up a little bit more. We're going to be taking advantage of these suppressed assets. And when we look at the multiply, our returns, how do we multiply our returns? We know how we're making it. We know how we protect it. Where the hell is the opportunity at? As I talked about, what this whole Wall Street game is set up to do is to not allow the average person the best opportunities. And so that's how they've set this up, to not have a level playing field for everyone to invest in private equity, pre-IPO companies. No, they show the companies to you after they've gone public. Wall Street sells you paper derivatives. They don't get you exposure to the actual metal, and well, they do, right? It's a trust me, bro, from the broker that's broker than you, and he just needs to sell you something, right? And when it comes to multiplying our money, for me, I am looking at real estate, the most tax favored asset, or one of the most tax favored assets, I would say. Kind of debatable there, but heavily tax favored. I'm looking at real estate. I'm looking at real estate as far as building equity, and I'm looking at real estate as far as tax savings and cash flow. 2 different ways to skin that one. And then I'm looking at digital assets that are going to run the new financial system. It's very simple. Do you have utility? Is that utility a large problem, i.e. payments 20 trillion plus per day? Is anybody that matters using your token? And that's it. And that's it. As long as the tokenomics, as long as the tech line up, we just ask the simple question: what's the utility? Is the problem that you're solving big? And is anybody that matters that have that problem actually using it, i.e. banks, payment providers, and institutions? In the case of XRP, XLM at the table, XDC, doing some deals, building some utility over there. And the thing that I love about XDC is that you can roll over any ERC20 token to the XDC ledger in the time it takes to sip your adult beverage and have a good time. And I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. That's my rant for the night. Let me take some Q&A. I appreciate you guys for coming through. If you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for me. And if you're looking to join our Discord community, you just go to my website, sign up for Patreon to get access to Discord there. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. What are we working with? I feel like something's going on with TikTok. I'm being heavily suppressed over there. I only have 30 people on TikTok, which is insane. How do you have 300,000 followers and only 30 people on your live? Something's weird. We have 420 on YouTube. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, if you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for me. Really helps us get the message out. And if you guys could do me a big favor, make sure that you hit that notification so you don't miss any of our updates, okay? So you don't miss these Saturday night lives. Tomorrow we got the space on X. It's going to be lit, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you guys check in over there. FOMO is real, absolutely. XR Peaky Blinder, good to see you. Armand, good, yes, good to see you guys. Yep. How we doing tonight, folks? TikTok, I see you. TikTok, if you guys could do me a favor, could you tap the screen and share the stream? I don't know what's going on with TikTok, but hopefully folks are getting in. If not, you can come on over to the YouTube party. Big Dog Investing, I see you, brother. Looking forward to the spaces tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Former SEC lawyer. And folks, you know, welcome to come on up, ask your questions. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be a good time. We're going to go within and get on the other side of the table, go into the mind of a former SEC lawyer who has some very interesting takes. That's going to be fun. This is going to be a good time. When do I think that I'll make a move into gold? Matt, that's a great question. Wifey doesn't like gold, so no gold jewelry. And for me, it's going to be an allocation that I make when I have a lot more capital to preserve. A lot more capital. For me, I'm talking like M's in the bank account type of allocation, right? Like when I have M's in the bank account, that is when I will probably be looking at gold, right? It's really a way to preserve some wealth, but for me, right now, I just see way more upside in silver and the same utility as far as being blackout barter. Now, getting some exposure to gold, I actually probably will be doing sooner, just so I can have a couple gold coins, just to say that I do own some gold. But when I talk about stacking up some serious, you know, making a serious allocation towards gold, for me, it's not going to be for a while. Every time you talk, they silence you. Kelly, yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's a little weird. I don't know if it's because I switched TikTok and I moved them sideways, so now they get the full webcam visuals like YouTube. It's the same exact screen, which is nice because I was telling TikTok I get to share my charts, I get to share the articles and everything that we're talking about. But I don't know. It's interesting. I've been playing games with TikTok for the whole time I've been on there. What a fun little platform. When do you think that the peak of the bull run will be? I think that into 2025. Into 2025, yeah. Hi, Zach. Have you seen the X Gold info update on BitTrue? I have not. Frederick, what is that? the BRICS can't outpower us. Well, yeah, militarily, they can make some moves against us, and financially, currency war level, they also can move. But where the real situation comes in here that folks are missing on is that you don't have to join BRICS to drop the dollar. And that's the difference. That's what folks aren't getting, is that there's many countries around the world that are just saying, we're done with the dollar. We're not going to be using it anymore. Not for trade, not for settlement. And oh, by the way, we're dropping our bonds that we hold too. And we're seeing our allies do this. It's not just folks that hate us. So think about that for a second. It's not BRICS takedown of the dollar. It's everybody's tired of our, I don't want to swear, but everybody's tired of our crap, right? Even our allies, Saudi Arabia, France, they are tired of our crap. And so you don't have to join BRICS to drop the dollar. And that's what people are missing on the whole BRICS hype narrative. You know, is gold and silver going to pump on the days of the BRICS summit? Probably not. Probably not, right? But does it set something in motion? You bet. You bet. And the smart money's already been stacking at these levels, right? They're manipulating the market on the paper side while they stuff it in their vault, i.e., go clean 10% of the COMEX in a day. You short it, play with it on the papers market, derivatives, right? And on the back end, your ships coming back to your homeland, you're bringing your gold back home, just like the smart money did before they confiscated gold in 1930s and then did a set price, a revaluation. Get your wife a Cartier bracelet. Yeah, I'm not a big gold guy either. I don't, as far as jewelry, you know, I mean, it has a place, I guess. It's a look. I don't really do style. I let my wife dress me most of the time. What's your favorite landscaping equipment? I'm buying a mower soon. And Gregory, that's awesome, man. We run straight John Deere 0 turns, and we run Exmark commercial push mowers. That's all we run. John Deeres are spendy, but they're sound. They're built sound. Not like they used to. Nothing's built like it used to be. But yeah, it's a good deal, you know. For me, there's a massive opportunity from the guy that's going to go freaking start a lawn mowing business just like I did 8 years ago, to folks that want to, create a media business, do a digital business, a new world business. It's about understanding your skill set that you're bringing to the table right now. And the focus needs to be on utility that is not going to go away when times get tough, like what we're going through right now, right? If you're relying on good times, on folks having plenty of discretionary spending, plenty of credit card balance to use up, you're going to find some struggling here, right? It's going to get tight through the rest of this year into next year. Now it'll start to pick up again next year when the bull run begins. Folks will get a little bit excited, but there's still going to be a lot of problems that the United States face through next year as well. And you have to remember that we don't get a new Congress, new Senate, new House, and a new president until 2024, if all goes smooth. Can't talk about that. You guys got me thinking about jewelry now. Jewelry is it's so ridiculous, man. As far as the diamonds that are, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Why do we do that? It's crazy. A little rock, and now they got the fake ones. Yeah. Oh, Aunt Lynn, it's not letting you send me the super chat. That's unfortunate. I appreciate you, Aunt Lynn, for always showing your support. Well, if you can't send the super chat, make sure you smash that thumbs up for me. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I don't know why that's weird that super chat's not working for you, but I always appreciate your support. Get some Canadian maple gold snaps. Yep. Your stream keeps freezing, dude. Yeah, see, TikTok's killing me. I'm just gonna kill the TikTok. TikTok, I apologize. I don't know what's happening over there. Apparently the stream keeps freezing. I don't know. We were too over the target tonight. I'm gonna kill TikTok stream. TikTok, just head to my YouTube, okay? TikTok, just come on over to YouTube. All 40 of you. It's crazy. Usually we always run at least a hundo. At least 100. Even at 3 p.m. in the morning, we could still pull 100 people in the TikTok stream. TikTok, I'm going to head on over to YouTube. Or I'm going to stay here on YouTube. You guys head on over to YouTube. Appreciate you guys, TikTok. Thank you. Who knows if they even saw that goodbye. Can we speak in private, please? Yeah, so really the only place that I'm meeting with folks is in the Discord group. On a weekly basis, we have our Discord weekly meetings. Right now, we're temporarily not offering one-on-one sessions, okay? But that will be coming available here again soon. So if you're looking to get a one-on-one session that's focused on, business and what we got cooking, business investing in life, we can talk about whatever you would like. We are going to fire up the one-on-one sessions here again soon. So if you're interested in that, you can get on a list if you just send me a message at my website. There's a chat with Zach one-on-one sessions there. So if you send me that message, you can get on a list, and when we open that back up, we can talk about that. But right now, the only place that I communicate with anybody is in the Discord group. And the reason why I do that is because my time is very limited as a family man and a business owner and a content creator. I am always working or with the fam, period. And we're tied on our time is very limited right now. But I do check the Discord every single day. We're posting in there. There's a conversation taking place all the time. And that's the only place that I really am making myself available, because the scammers are going nuts right now, guys. And the fact that we might have the block feature removed on Twitter, I don't know, because I haven't seen it. Hasn't been as bad on Twitter as it is on TikTok and as it is on Facebook and Instagram. I mean, I have a Facebook and Instagram page, but I don't even talk about it because right now those are the worst platforms along with TikTok for scammers. And it's really frustrating. And YouTube as well is super bad, as you guys see in all the comments. And we're in there every single day. We got multiple eyes on it. We're blocking and reporting these scammers. And, kind of to the point earlier talking about trading, that's why I don't talk about trading too much, is because then folks think that, oh, I'm going to trade for them. I will never trade for you. I will never message you about trading. The only place that I talk about trading is in my Discord group, period. Right? And then I actually, me being, I like to tell too much, and I just move in full transparency. When I am in a trade, I do tell YouTube, right? I do tell you guys. Okay, I'm in a Bitcoin short right now, down 10%. I'll let you know how it goes. I'm really trying to protect our community right now. Really trying to protect our community. There's so many scammers. It's gotten really tough, but we were, talking about our business, talking about income, talking about prepping, talking about precious metals for the last 2 years. And today it really hit home when I was listening to our community member, Randy, who's eyes on the ground up there, and God bless her, and God bless my Canadian friends up there. You can just hear it in these people when they're telling you what they're seeing, and you feel their pain, and they understand what's going on. There's a lot of Canadians that are tapped in. We have quite a few members from Canada in our group, and they're tapped in 100% over the target. And as I was saying in the call this morning, Canada is much further along with the agenda, and the resistance is struggling. It's hard, right? Because the enemy's moving. I got to be careful on what I say. I just got to be careful on what I say. But you guys know what I'm talking about, right? And this is why videos are going viral right now lately of Canadians, little TikTok videos of Canadians that are just sharing the pain that they're going through, the situation that they're dealing with, the hardships that they're dealing with the economy, inflation, the real estate market, and how that country's being ran and how absurd and insane it is. And like I said, I try not to go political. I try to just ask, how's the program been working out? And it's not working out. It's been a failure. It's not working out, right? And they are doubling down on these programs that have been failing. So where do we go next? The sacrifice of middle class and poor, just like in Canada, just like in the US, just like the West, just like the Americans losing nearly $6 trillion of wealth last year. California is about to get hit. And, the thing about this is these are areas that aren't normally prepped out for situations like this. So even if the hurricane isn't even that bad, it can still wreak havoc on systems. I mean, shoot, California, their grid's been going down every year, right? And the wildfires haven't really been terrible this year, from what I understand. I haven't been paying too close of attention, but I would have heard it on the news by now, I'm sure, right? Wildfires have been pretty under control. Any Californians in the chat can let me know. But I know there are some going on right now, and the worry is not so much on the hurricane damage, but the winds moving those fires rapidly, right? And so it's being crazy. There's a lot of reports that a lot of these fires are man-made. And I'm telling you, a lot of this is suspect. And I, got to be careful with what I say on this platform. We were talking about it in our Discord call this morning. This is a setup, man. 100%. These people are sick, and I have a smile on my face and I laugh about it because you try to explain this to the common person and they think you're crazy. They've thought we were crazy. Now they're starting to say, wow, how'd you get that right? Wow, maybe I shouldn't have done this. What did happen here? What is going on? And we continue to take the stance of let all truth be revealed, but we have a pretty good idea of what's been going down. Yeah, we're not fools, right? And when you read their white papers, when you understand how they work and operate, how deep their connections and ties go, you got a pretty good idea where this is coming from and what the agenda is. And like I said, it's to destroy the purity of humanity. They're coming for the soul. Just like they say in the political campaign, Kamala, this is for the soul of America. They're telling you, right? But I should probably get back to the XRP hype, right? Stick to crypto, bro. I can't. See, I'm a real person. I got a family now. It was one thing when I had to ride this storm out and ride this chaos out by myself as a young fella. Now with the family, you can't. I can't. It's not going to happen. I do my censorship dance on the public platforms, but... And it was funny, I fired up a space the other night and I was going off about it. And I actually dropped an F-bomb. I didn't mean to, but I dropped an F-bomb because I was getting so excited about these things. And just how passionate that I get. But Nicole, she's my co-host, she was telling me, I can tell that you're still holding back. And I definitely was. I'm so programmed and trained to do the censorship dance that it's hard for me to just let it fly and speak how I would if, we were sitting at the diner having an adult beverage, right? Or sitting in the Discord group where I can actually talk freely, right? it has been incredibly nice though on the X platform to be able to have some more conversations that we weren't able to have on some of these others. That's been really refreshing. And I've been hammering on X. I think that there's so much attention and so many eyeballs on there that as someone in the media business, as someone in content, I was focused on hammering down on Twitter before everybody was getting paid and making money, right? Which is really cool. I think what they're setting up is very interesting. But even before that, I could see the change. As soon as Elon took over, he flipped the switch on this platform and he sent it, and the people are really desiring a free speech platform. And what's interesting is that this morning, they're talking about how the only way to get the truth about what was taking place up in BC by the fires was through social media, was through Facebook Lives, Instagram, like, folks going live on TikTok, literally, because the mainstream media won't cover it. And then I actually shared the tweet as well. Canadians were blocked from seeing, I think, CTV, or one of the main media broadcasting companies up there in Canada, was actually blocked from their own people because of the new laws that their government passed up there for censorship in media. And so now you got these folks that are going, wait, what the heck is this about? I thought this was about preventing misinformation and all this. And now one of the mainstream sources can't be shared? Maybe they're sharing too much misinformation. But folks are having to go to boots on the ground, someone firing up a TikTok stream to get the truth. The mainstream media is covering up and they're not sharing it. And what our community member shared is that they're letting it go. Not only that they're letting it go, that they're not stopping them when they can. There used to be way more resources, way more helicopters, way more planes, all these resources for stopping these fires. But they're not stopping them when they can. They're letting them get out of control and then just letting them go. And it's funny because my most viral video on TikTok was literally at the Canadian-US border. And I went there and I recorded a video of the Canadians coming over the border, and they were giving me a hug as I was reporting live on the scene. And I was talking about the protests that were taking place in Canada. That was the whole convoy trucker protest when all that was going down. I went to the border to go see what the heck was going on. And there's this huge group of protesters, of people, and I don't even want to call them, let's call them peaceful protesters, because that's what they were doing. And it was funny, the border was shut down and they had taken it over, and they had actually kind of came across the marker, and they came over to me. I was the only, me and two other Americans were there kind of checking out what was going on. And I made a video live on the scene. And that video ended up getting like 2 million, 3 million views or something. And it's my most viewed video. But that goes to show why these platforms, they're quick, and they want that backdoor to shut this down, is because the truth's getting out quickly. They're trying to do some sketchy stuff, as I was saying, right? There's some sketchy stuff. Anyone with eyes to see and who understands what's really going on here and what their agenda is, why they have an incentive to take the actions that they're taking. And I'm not talking about anything crazy, no crazy conspiracy, just simply mismanagement and decisions being made that they don't have to make, right? They're giving us a reason for them, but it just doesn't make sense. They want to be able to shut this down because folks are getting the truth out. They're going to the ground and taking a TikTok and making a Facebook and doing a deal. And they're getting the word out. And actually, I saw this morning that in Canada, they're looking to assemble a 1 million person march, and you have Christians and Muslims gathering together to do a 1 million person march to protest. I'm not going to comment really what it's about, but it's about ideologies and activities. 1 million person march, Christians, Muslims uniting, and Canadians uniting. And like I said, there's a huge amount of people up there that are waking up. but they're really like, when you look at their battlefield, right? The enemies really moved. They really, really conquered a couple territories up there, a couple cities up there, Vancouver and Toronto. And it's a real fight up there. Excuse me. It's a real fight up there. Same thing in the United States, though. You have these states and these cities that the policies you cannot explain, the decisions you cannot explain. It's not a crazy conspiracy theory to see these states run their operation into the gutter, to allow lawlessness to take over their streets, right? And to continue to mismanage and lose on the investments that they do make with the funds that we pay them by our hard-earned tax dollars. Now, for me right now, like I said, there's a lot of chaos to play out over the next year and a half. We're insulated. We're going to be fine. But this is when the opportunities of a lifetime are going to present themselves. When it gets the most difficult. When folks do break down, we can be that solution. A business owner who doesn't have an exit strategy, doesn't have a plan towards the end of his working years, and he's looking for someone to take over this business, that could be you. You're working as a manager right now, right? And your boss has no exit plan. That could be you. Folks are going to get desperate and folks are going to be broken down. There already are. You're seeing it. This is real. Okay. Now, we're not coming in like vultures that are just trying to kill these people and take their businesses. What we're trying to do, right, is offer them a solution. That's what it is. Now, my mentor says that there's no such thing as a win-win deal, but you're going to let them out. You're going to give them a solution. And that's what the plan is. That's what the program is. That's what the model is. And the model that I've implemented and that I've studied works better during times of chaos. That's where we're at. And so for you guys, you got to find that opportunity. What is your skill set? Who can you get around you? What's your team looking like, right? Your network will be your net worth. Who did you meet with today? What relationships are we establishing? What relationships are we nurturing? Don't be that guy that always just wants to take and never brings value to the table. The best thing that we can do, especially when we're trying to reach up, is we show up by giving value with nothing in return. There's incredible opportunities right now. And folks that are still hanging on, America lost $6 trillion worth of wealth. A lot of real estate, a lot of businesses, a lot in equities. But these folks, with what they have left, are looking for folks like you in this chat right now who are willing to take action, are willing to learn, and are willing to step up and take a little bit of risk. They're going to be willing to take you under their arm, to teach you, to do an owner finance deal on their business, for you to be able to take over the operation. Maybe not today, but maybe over the course of the next year or two, right? And you can be, if you're an 18-year-old in the chat, all the way up to someone who's 60, 70 years old, who's still trying to make a deal happen. For me, finding your purpose, finding your mission, getting locked in so that you can wake up every day with excitement and that energy in you, right? That's what you need. You got to get to that place. Doesn't mean you have to go start your own business. For some folks, that's what they want to go do. You want to start a side hustle, you want to start a business, that's what's going to get you to that point. Okay. Not everybody needs to do that. How do you improve and bring value to your job? It's okay to be 9 to 5. If you make a boatload of money and you're taken care of, it's 100% fine to be 9 to 5. And especially as someone who is an entrepreneur and self-employed, there's a lot to be said for having some work-life balance, having a little bit more time for family. I know that I'm making a sacrifice right now, but it's all for my family. It's all for what we're building right now, right? And so you got to find your skill set and you got to surround yourself with folks that complement where you lack. Then we go find the best opportunities right now as folks are ready to hand it over. They're ready to just give you your business. They like you so much, they don't even want money. Just have it. I want to see it continue on. As businesses are not only burning down to the ground, as we have all these fires across the country right now, they're burning down financially as well. And these business owners need an option. They need an exit strategy. That is us. That can be us. So we're stepping into that right now. When it comes to our investments, we're looking at the real estate asset class in a major way. Right now, if you go look at the amount of listings in some of these major cities, you will find in Austin, Texas, that I think, don't quote me exactly on these numbers, there's about a few thousand listings right now in Austin, Texas, single family homes. When you go look at Airbnbs available, I believe it's over 10,000. And I retweeted and I said, if cities like Dallas continue to ban Airbnbs, this could really bring on a lot more supply. Now, that's just one example of how the real estate asset class is getting shaken up right now, how it's being disrupted. One opportunity is, just like in Dallas, thousands of units coming online because folks can no longer Airbnb them out. And folks are thinking that, nobody's going to sell because everybody's living in their home that they're locked in with a 3% interest rate. You have to consider how many folks invested in real estate over the past few years who just started to invest in real estate. What is their financial standing? Where is their cash flow? And if they can't Airbnb out the property, like we talk about in our group, having a backup plan, can they rent it out on a monthly basis and still cash flow it? Probably not. And so they're going to be forced to liquidate. Just like I titled the real estate update that I dropped yesterday. If you guys didn't check that out, make sure you guys go check that out. I'm going to keep on dropping the real estate updates, even though they don't get as much views as XRP hype. It's just as important. This is an asset class that impacts everybody. And what we're seeing right now is incredible disruption to the asset class. So that was just one example with the Airbnbs, but you're seeing wildfires. There's potentially thousands of homes across multiple states, multiple fires that are getting burned up at a time when there is a lack of supply and there's a lack of quality homes. There's always opportunity for quality, for real value and utility. It's just like crypto, right? And so there's a boatload of money to be made in real estate over the next few years. But many that got in lately, right? Their deal doesn't work at 7-8% plus interest rates. And so unless they had their deals locked in with fixed rate debt, unless they can continue to Airbnb it out, or if they can't Airbnb it out, now they can turn it into a long-term lease, right? If they don't have a plan, right, it's not the same situation. And so every data point that I look at for the real estate tells me that we have to adjust. And it's not necessarily reflected in price dropping drastically in every market. That's not going to happen. Some markets just aren't going to go up 5% this year. They're just not going to go up 10% this year. They're going to be down 2% this year. They're going to be down 5% this year. Now, commercial real estate, office space in the major cities in the United States is going to get sacrificed. And now, New York just rolled out a plan to actually roll out and convert some 20,000 plus new units out of office buildings in the city. So just like I've been talking about in some of my most recent real estate updates, one of the main opportunities that we're looking at is what a term that I came up with, commercial conversion, which is just simply that, converting commercial. In this case, it's office space that they're converting to apartments. But I mean, you name it, commercial real estate is getting massively disrupted, has already crashed in many cities, 50, 60, 70%. So not all markets are, Not all markets are created equal for real estate. We have to understand that. But you have to understand, just like I said, when it comes to businesses, when it comes to how we make money, you have to understand your skill set. You have to understand what you're going to be investing in real estate. There's many different segments. There's many different ways to do real estate, right? We've been talking in our group. We've brought up some examples of folks that have done ADUs. That's a deal. Another deal that we were talking about today was the potential to bring on more ADUs as these cities change their zoning, and they're going to allow for more ADUs to be built. They're going to allow for tighter buildings, right? This is going to allow folks the opportunity to build out ADUs in markets that are way short on supply of units, right? And where values are insane, like California, some of these other states like that, where you can put up an ADU in your backyard and you can cash flow a couple grand a month, a couple $2,000-$3,000 per month on that ADU. An incredible opportunity. We're going to be taking advantage, not only in our businesses, but when we talk about the precious metals that we've been stacking, the setup is fantastic, and the smart money is draining the vaults right alongside with us. Go to my website and let us know whether you want the metal shipped directly to you or you want to roll over your 401k retirement account. A great way to save and move your 401k account, because many folks are seeing those 401ks take slashes, just get cut 10% last year, 20% last year. The amount of folks that have came and told me stories, and the amount of folks in our community that already told me, yeah, I already cashed out my 401k. And there's actually a big uptick in the amount of folks that are using. There's different rules that allow you to pull out your 401k, different burdens that you can be under, financial stress, different situations, hardships that allow you to pull out your 401k. And that's actually on the uptick right now. But the amount of people that I've talked to have said that, yeah, I've moved it all to money markets. Yeah, I moved it all out and I invested in crypto or precious metals or real estate, something besides the Wall Street scheme, which their main scheme is the 60-40 portfolio, which had its third worst year last year. And then 40% of that 64 portfolio was the bond market, which had its worst year ever last year. And as it stands right now, the bonds are going to continue to expire. And you got to ask, who's going to be the buyer of these promises from the US government, and this is why the inversion is where it's at. And folks don't want those 10-year treasuries, right? And that 10-year treasury is the base for where the mortgage rates get set at. And we're already seeing mortgage rates above 8%. The average right now is anywhere from 7 to 7.5%. And we're already seeing an uptick over 8% in many states on average. So deals that were done at 2 and 3% don't pencil out the same at 7, 8. And if you're an investor and you're using private money, commercial lending, commercial debt, you might be at something even higher. Unless you're someone with a serious track record. If you got a serious track record right now, you are getting considerable concessions when it comes to your debt. Considerable concessions if you have a serious track record, right? For someone like myself who's new, they're like, we don't trust you to buy your first time home. We don't trust you to do it. No, that I'm joking. They do. I mean, we've been ready to go. Me and wifey, we've been looking since last year, and we're patiently waiting. And for many folks, you're going to find that it's not even close comparing renting versus buying in your community. The situation right now in America, in a lot of cities, a lot of popular areas, is that it is not even close how much you're going to be shelling out per month to rent versus to buy, right? And the fact of the matter is that most people can't even afford the median income home right now. Some 75% of people across America can't even afford the median home at these mortgage rates right now. And now think about what I said earlier in the show. I think that the Fed is actually going to do one more interest rate hike. We're not done. And so we could actually see that, I'm waiting to see that average tick up over 8%. I think that we will achieve that. Yeah. because I think that one more rate increase is baked into the cake, whether that's the September meeting or later in the year. I think that we get one more this year. This is what the Fed's been telling us. A lot of folks hoping and praying that the Fed will give us some relief. Inflation just ticked back up. How could they possibly cut rates right now? If they're serious about their mandate of getting inflation to 2%, and the core CPI is still above 4%, it's not even close to 2. The headline CPI, which is not their preferred inflation gauge, got down to 3%. Now it's back up to 3.2%. So that's why I think that we 100% get another rate increase. And as I showed you, we always get price declines in the stocks after that final rate decrease, or that final rate increase, I should say. So that's the situation at hand, folks. I appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. Like I said, you can go to my website to get access to our Discord, to get your precious metals. We can get them shipped to you. We can both be holding up our shiny precious metals and have a lot of fun doing it, because I tell you what, this is why I sleep soundly at night, is I know I got my metals, I got my other essentials. We've been, you know, you got some babies in the house. Maybe you need some wipes. Maybe you need some diapers. You need food. You need essentials, and you need to be able to get through whatever they're going to send our way. Now, God willing, we survive this chaos. The TA is scary. As I said in the XRP to $27 video, it's scary. The price action is going to be so scary for most people. They're not going to be able to handle it. And we're going to continue stacking in the meantime. We're going to continue preparing ourselves for what is coming. We are going to maximize this opportunity, and our family is going to reap the benefits of these actions that we're taking right now for decades to come. I appreciate all of you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, on the way out, please do me a favor by smashing it and make sure we're all subscribed up. Appreciate you guys so much. Let's have a blessed Sunday. We got a space coming tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I will see you guys there. God bless you all.